You ever wake up and for 1 second forget they're gone? And then a wave you didn't see coming hits you. Mornings after losing a loved one aren't just quiet, they are heavy. The kind of heavy that weighs down your whole body. Even simply getting out of bed can often feel like it's too much. And in this video, I'll share with you 7 things that most all of us go through in our grief. And maybe you're not even aware of it. Especially the last one is something that I don't hear a lot of people talk about. I'll also share with you things you can do to help yourself when you're in the trenches of a heavy morning. And before we start, let me say one more thing. Grief isn't something to be fixed. It can only be felt. These points that I provide you with are meant to help you navigate your grief, not to fix it. And with that being said, let's start with number 1. That first second of forgetting. Like the example in the intro, did you ever wake up and just for a moment, you forgot that they were gone? Until reality crashed back in like a wave. So many people start their day like this, and I had my fair share of that too. But what could you possibly do in that moment? Here's a gentle morning practice you can try. When everything comes crashing down on you, you can place your hands on your heart and say either out loud or in your head, I carry you into this day with me. You can even light a candle first and then say it. It's a very subtle act, but it softens the painful memories and turns them into an intentional act of remembrance instead. It can be a very nice way to start the day, which brings me right to number 2, the empty space they leave behind. Maybe your routine has changed ever since they're gone. Maybe you're now making 1 tea instead of 2. Maybe there's 1 toothbrush left now, or maybe there are no more good morning texts from them to start the day. Their absence echoes louder in the quiet of morning. And loss doesn't just take away the person, it leaves behind a hole that they used to fill in your life. And sometimes that's the part that hurts the most. Because the world keeps going and yet something is missing in every room you enter. And for this one, it's hard to tell you anything that might be helpful. And I know that's not what you want to hear, but some parts about grief need to be felt in order to be healed. But what you can try though is to find something that makes you feel closer to them in your daily routine. Maybe you can try using their favorite mug in the morning for your coffee or your tea to feel their essence closer to you. This is very individual, and there might be a very specific object that makes you feel closer to them. It can be an object that becomes your grief companion in a way. Maybe it's a stone or a necklace or a bracelet or a book or a favorite t-shirt they used to wear, and you feel a bit of comfort when you wear that t-shirt or hold that stone because it makes you feel closer to them. Waking up to guilt. You're having a moment of peace in the morning, or you were dreaming of something unrelated to your loved one who has died. And you then feel guilty for not having them constantly on your mind. It can almost feel like it has become your full-time job and your obligation to constantly think of them. And it almost feels like you're being disloyal to them if you don't. But let me ask you, is that really true? And can you be absolutely certain that is true? You see, it's a beautiful thing that you're thinking of your loved one so much because it shows how much you love them. But at the same time, it is also okay to have a moment where you're thinking of something else completely unrelated, or even having a moment of peace. In the early days, or even in your first year of grief, this thought alone can almost seem like a betrayal, but it's not. It can feel like if you don't think of them, then who will? And if you don't think of them, then you will forget them. And then they will be completely gone forever. But that is not true. You will never forget them. And only because you think of something else for a moment doesn't mean that you're forgetting them. They will always stay with you in your heart. And it's okay to feel joy. It is okay to feel moments of peace. It is okay to feel anything. They would want you to live again. Which brings me to number 4. Dread of a long day without them. The weight of a whole day that's ahead of you without their voice, guidance, love, or comfort can be heavy. And the thought of having to go through the day without them just doesn't feel right. So how can you assist yourself to get through this? Here's what has helped me. I would often tell myself things that I think my mom would tell me in this moment. It's almost as if I could hear her voice in my head, and then I say it out loud, as if she would say it to me. Things like, I know it's hard for you right now, and I'm sorry that I can't be there with you right now. But I know that you're strong, and I know that you can do it. I'm proud of you. And I often would cry, but it helped me many times. You can also write a little post-it note of what you think your loved one would say to you and stick it on your fridge so you can see it the next morning as words of encouragement. You can also write a mini letter or record a voice note to them as your first act of the day. And you can start with simply writing or saying, here's what I think you'd tell me today. Or here's how I wish I could lean on you right now. It keeps the relationship with your loved one alive in a way, while also giving you something emotionally grounding that you can hold on to. Loss of motivation and purpose. Okay, now real talk. We've all been there, feeling like, what's the point before even stepping out of bed? Because everything just feels like a burden. Some mornings your body carries the grief even before your mind remembers. Your limbs feel like stone, your eyes sting, your chest is tight, and honestly, you might feel like you've just run a marathon, and yet the day hasn't even begun. Grief lives in your body too, and your body is doing the best it can to hold all that sorrow. You're carrying this grief even while you sleep. So if you wake up heavy in the morning, let this be your permission to move slowly. Here's another gentle morning practice you can try. Just stay in bed for 1 more minute, or 5 or 20 more minutes, and then place your hand on your chest or belly and start to breathe slowly. Inhale and exhale. Your breath helps you to connect with yourself again, because often we're so far away with our thoughts that we are completely disconnected from ourselves. And all you got to do in that moment is arrive. Breathe and arrive. Treat yourself like someone who deserves tenderness, because you do. The sounds that break you open. Some mornings sound like an enemy. You wake up in a world that's too loud or too quiet, and either one can be deafening. Sometimes a random song will play and it brings back that memory, the one you didn't ask to relive before breakfast, or maybe it's the silence that hurts the most. The kind that reminds you that no one's in the kitchen anymore. No footsteps, no humming, no voice calling your name. And you just lie there staring at the ceiling, wondering how a song or silence can ache like this. When a certain song plays, it's almost as if you have no power over it and it just pulls you along right into your feels. Sound and music can become one of the most tender, painful, and beautiful ways grief shows up to help you heal. And if you feel like music helps you to deal with your grief, I created a grief playlist for you and I'll link it down in the description. These songs don't try to fix you or cheer you up. Rather, it's filled with songs that see you in a way, that sit in the dark with you and say, you don't have to be okay right now. And sometimes I'd listen to just one track, or I'd lie there and play a whole bunch of them while I cry. And weirdly, it helped because it gave shape to what I couldn't say. And it gave me permission to feel instead of pushing it all away. So if you're waking up in the morning where everything sounds wrong, try putting on a song that understands you. And maybe, just maybe, let it be the first voice that says, you're not alone in this. Dreams that bring them back. Some mornings, the pain doesn't start with memory. It starts with a dream. A dream where they were alive, smiling, laughing, maybe even hugging you. And for a few moments, everything felt right again. You saw them, heard their voice, felt their love, and then you woke up. And the heartbreak hits you all over again. That cruel split second where your brain still believes they're here, and then reality crashes in harder than it has in days. You want to hold on to the dream, but it slips away like smoke. And now your heart aches double for the loss and for the loss again. I used to think something was wrong with me for crying so hard after those dreams, but I've come to understand that those dreams are a gift and a wound at the same time. They remind us how deep our love is, that even in sleep, our soul reaches for them and wants to be with them. So what can you do with that pain? Sometimes I write the dream down. I still remember one dream where I saw my mom and she asked me, "How are you doing?" And I said, "I'm doing great." And she looked at me with a smile on her face and with tears in her eyes and said, "Even when I'm gone, you still try to comfort me." I didn't understand why she said that. And then I woke up and realized it was all a dream. And then I understood it. Even in my dream, I didn't want her to worry about me. And I put on a brave face. I cried, but I was grateful. I didn't dream of my mom for a long time, but I did frequently dream of her in the first 2 years after she passed away. And every time I did, I was grateful for the visit. So let the dream be what it was, a brief reunion, a message from somewhere beyond, and maybe say, "Thank you for coming back to me," even if only for a moment. And if your heart breaks again in the morning light, let it. It just means they mattered that much, and they still do. So here's a quick summary of all that we've gone through. That fleeting moment of forgetting they're gone can be crushing, but turning it into a morning ritual of remembrance, like placing your hand on your heart and saying, "I carry you into this day with me," can transform pain into connection. The absence in routines and spaces cuts deep, but anchoring to an object that reminds you of them, like their favorite mug or a shirt, can offer comforting presence amid the silence. Moments of peace or distractions don't mean you're forgetting. They show you're still living, and it's okay to feel joy without betraying their memory. Facing a full day without them can feel unbearable, but imagining what they might say to encourage you, even writing it down, can offer emotional steadiness and continued connection. Grief can weigh down your body before your mind even wakes, so give yourself permission to move slowly, breathe, and simply arrive in the moment with compassion. Music and silence can unexpectedly be very painful, but instead of resisting it, letting those sounds speak for your grief can offer profound healing and permission to feel. Dreams where they return can reopen wounds, but they're also a gift, a reminder of enduring love and a chance to say thank you for one more visit, even in sleep. So thank you everyone for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed this video, here's another one that you might enjoy, and I wish you a good day. Much love.